Now with Xavier Burns, interview number 3 I've done in the space of about Mr. Burns, how are you?
Good, a bit blown up there. We got a few drills going with Sarah J, so a bit blown up at the moment, but a few minutes I'll be alright.
Good. Well, you're here with me, like, so it's like once you get
Relax.
the flow to talk and relax,
That's
good.
it.
As I've said to everyone, this first question is, how were you introduced to wrestling?
At a very early age. My grandfather introduced me to wrestling, world of sport, massive world of sport.
Wow.
So him and my grandmother, I actually went to some of the shows over in the UK. I actually have tickets of the actual world of sport from the UK, so that was my first memory, just fucking...
So how old do you want to be? Normally, what, 2, 3, 4?
Since I can remember.
Yeah.
That's when I was introduced to it,
Yeah.
My first ever memory was probably 94, 95. You know the old entrance of the lighted entrance?
Yeah.
That's just so vivid in my mind, like watching that and watching Mr. Perfect walking out and all the lads. So yeah, I was just kind of born into it, kind of thing, So, and I never grew out of it. So that's where I came
think
from.
that's why we're both here.
Yeah, exactly. Never grew up.
When did it change to becoming you actually seriously going to become a professional wrestler?
Probably in school. There was no schools available to me, training schools, so I decided, why not do backyard wrestling? Backyard wrestling, I suppose, I was probably the most influential backyarder.
That was What was
EIW.
EIW, yes.
All the videos are still online. When I started actually training, I was kind of 50-50. I was like, well, I take down these I think there's about 150 videos online, clips of all the backyard, and I was thinking, will I take them down? Will I want? They're all still there, available.
How many people did it?
Oh, we had so many people, because I used to run it in school. So I was in a school, St. Paul's. Yeah. So I had literally people coming up to me on a daily basis. When can I come up? When can I go training? Or when can I do the show? Because we actually had a pretty good fucking setup. Like, we used to rent a room in Tiger. So we got the room, and we even got mats from the school, crash mats. We got the gymnastic mats. So we had a good little spot. Then we had a chap as well who loved directing, filming. So he used to record all our shows and edit them, and we had a pretty good setup, like, and back then, like, probably our setup was better than some of the stuff you'd see back then from the professional lads, like, do you know what I mean, or editing and recording and so on. So yeah, it's just from there, like, we got really hardcore, like, you know what I mean? But I had to stop then after a while. People were getting seriously injured. Had broken arms, broken legs. One of the lads we got a fucking slam through a fucking, what's it called, a floorboard, laminated floorboard. It sliced right through his leg. So, and it was the cleanest slice ever. No blood, but you could literally open his leg and see his bone. So I was thinking to myself, like, it was all on me, So I was thinking, this is getting a bit heavy.
Obviously you must have got angry parents, like.
Well, no, because not really angry parents. It was like, they go back to the parents and say, I was on a swing, or I was playing wrestling.
So they didn't even tell them?
No, not at all. And then it started getting a bit more attraction as well, so we started letting people in to watch the shows. Yeah. And then it started travelling.
And were you charged?
Yeah, of course, all went in my pocket as well. As it does. Too right. But so I started getting big crowds and stuff, and I was thinking, this is a bit heavy, like, we're not professionals, we're not insured. So I was thinking, fuck that. So the minute I left the Leaving Cert, then I looked up schools and I saw either Irish Whip or NW Ireland. Irish Whip is in Dublin, and NW Ireland was in Wicklow. I was only a learner driver at the time, so I couldn't go on the motorway, so Irish Whip was out the road. So I took the coast road every week, every Sunday, went up to NW Ireland. Without a doubt, still standing.
It was trained there at the time.
This is a great one as well. Every Sunday you'd go up there, and like the head trainer was like, you'd have Paul Tracy, Phil Boyd, Maxer, Jordan, Danny Butler, Justin Braid, Jordan Devlin. It was crazy. You take it for granted now, but back then you were just, you know what I mean, you didn't really think much of it. So we're doing drills and that like that. Like, you're standing next to either Max or Jordan. You're just doing drills with the lads, like, you know what I mean? It's just on a normal Sunday. Now the lads do seminars, like, they only do one class and you pay your money, and they just do one special class. So it was taken for granted back then, so it was just crazy. Looking back at it now, like, it was what an experience, like, So yeah.
And then how then did you end up here at CCW?
So like, when it all started with NW Ireland, I was 18, I left school, finished the Leaving Cert. A week later, NW Ireland had a 2-day beginners camp. Where you go up, stay overnight in the gym, do 2 days, and do a gym show at the end of it. Went up, did it, and we went up with a full car of us, 5 of us, and the lads loved it, they were like, yeah, it's grand, but they didn't come back. So I said, look, Dad, this is me, this is what I'm going to go for. So I did it then. That was in 2007, May 2007. Kept it going till around March or April 2008. Then the beer got the better of me, you know, because I was training every Sunday, so I had to stay in on Saturday nights, and I was only 19 at the time then, like, do you know what I mean? So I was just thinking to myself, do I really want to give up my weekends now? Looking back at it now, probably the biggest regret of my life, you know what I mean? So I took 5 years out, and when I found out then Celtic Championship Wrestling were opening up a school in Cork, I was thinking, only an hour and 20 minutes down the road. Ross Brown was training, he was with NW Ireland, I messaged him, so I decided to come back down. So I started training with Celtic in August 2013. And haven't stopped since.
Nice one. You just actually refer back to your backyard wrestling days. Did anybody else come from that that's still in the wrestling business now, or is it just you?
Just me.
Just you?
Yeah. I'm actually the only one from Waterford that's actually wrestling at the moment. Actually, that's a lie. There's a guy, Corrigan-MRH2-Assignment, I think he was Rocky Mack.
Yes.
He's from West Waterford. Yeah, so.
He's doing quite well for himself as well.
Really well.
He's a really nice guy. I know I was meant to grab him when it was at the OTT show when I interviewed Rhino, Jordan Devlin and Magic. So that's a great have. So next time, I think we'll go back up to the February show. Hopefully, we'll grab Rocky back then. Like
because he actually was on. We did a summer tour in 2014, and at the time he had a knee injury. His knees were a bit fucked. So I was thinking, I was saying to him, I'm the only fella from Waterford as a professional wrestler, and he was like, not for long, you know what I mean? Once this knee is back and ready, I'll be in the ring, and look at him now, you know what I mean? Bastard. Fuck you. Lovely fella though. Sound out.
So then, there are two other questions to it. Yes, I do. So what is it? Sorry, what then? Obviously, you have a big tag match tomorrow on the show. What is a typical fight week like for you?
Fight week for me is gym, harder than ever. Dieting, which I find the hardest, you know what I mean? It is tough.
Because presumably you be working as well.
You have a full-time job as well, you know what I mean? So trying to get the gym, the job, and the dieting and everything all in, and fight week, it can be nerve-wracking as well, especially when you're working with lads that, you know, you've never worked with. For an example, I'm working out tomorrow with Swiss guys, you know what I mean? Never worked with them before, so, you know, it's kind of an excited kind of nervousness, you know what I mean? So it's just like it's all you think about all week, like, do you know what I mean? And so then of course things like getting your tan. I don't do a fake tan. I go on the sunbeds, roast myself. I haven't actually shaved my chest or armpits since October, so I had a bit of a problem this week. I decided to get hair removal cream. Never again. Okay, right now I'm covered in hair and patches, and I'm gonna have to sort it out in the morning or something like so. So it's been a stressful week, you could say, between fucking sunbeds, fucking hair removal cream, broccoli, and weights. that's fight week.
Mixture.
That's fight week.
Nice mixture, absolutely. And then you have the beers after the match, I guess.
No, I'm actually gonna stay off it for January.
No, that's good.
Dry January this because, you know, like we've so much coming up like over the next couple of months as well. We have a big show over a Heen show in February as well. So
which leads me on to the last question then. Like, what are your hopes for 2016 to be on for you and for CCW?
For me personally, I just want to work with more guys, more maybe internationally, you know, work with some guys from overseas. Training wise, I want to start looking the part. I'll give you a good example. At the moment, my goal at the moment now is to actually get in shape so I can actually get a pair of trunks, you know. So you can't look shit wearing trunks, as you know yourself, you know, you gotta have the big quads, the big legs, so that's just like, for me it's small goals, you know, like when I first started with CCW, the goal was to wrestle in front of the home crowd in Waterford, smashed it, and after that I was thinking, you know, like, will I quit or will I keep going? So just small goals, set yourself small goals and go for them. Obviously I'd like to go for a title run, you know, things like that, so small goals. And obviously this year I'm going to be working overseas. I'm going to Switzerland as well in February. So like every year I've done smaller things like that have just meant a lot to me. Like last year I got to wrestle Phil Boyd, who was one of my trainers in NW Ireland. It meant a lot to me to work with Phil. I got to wrestle Bingo Balance. I got to wrestle with Ballymun Bruiser. Three of those guys especially, you know, they were big influences on me when I was, you know, 18, 19, looking up to them. So it was, you know, that's obviously it doesn't mean much to them, but it means the world to me. Getting to work with them, like so.
One final question then: what would you advise for a period? Because I saw a lot of young people, for the really young people. What would you advise them to get into wrestling? What would you say to them
if they're looking to get into it? Get fit before you do anything, because at the end of the day, if you're not fit and you get in the ring, you're just going to injure yourself or someone else. And you know, luckily I kind of got away with it over the years. I've always got into wrestling, and I kind of balance wrestling and beer. It just doesn't work. You can't do it, So get fit, find a reputable school, a decent school, avoid backyard wrestling at all costs.
Yeah, I might have done this as well.
Yeah, we've all done it. Whether it's in a backyard or your front living room, we've all done it. But obviously, guys that don't have wrestling schools close to them and they don't drive, try and find a way, get buses, ask your parents, find a good school. The one thing I'd say is get out of your head about characters, about music, about finishers. Get into a school, learn the basics, learn chain wrestling, learn how to bump. If they're not close to a wrestling school, join jiu-jitsu, join different things like MMA, anything that'll get you rolling around, get you physically fit, because at the end of the day, if you're not physically fit, you get in the ring. It's one thing about injuring yourself, injuring someone else. At the end of the day, it's fair enough if you injure someone, but you could potentially break someone's neck. That's hanging over your head for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So things like that people do take for granted. So that's the one thing I would advise people straight away off the bat.
Great, thank you very much. Good luck in your tag match. We'll be speaking to you again after your tag match at some stage. Maybe
probably won't be as fresh.
But because part of the documentary is we want to see how you were before the match now or after the match, some comparisons. That's the idea of it. So good luck, and we'll speak to you tomorrow evening at some stage.
Thanks very much, Keith. Cheers. We'll see you then. Thank you.